In this video, I'll show you how to add the views for the bracket 1433, including the section view. What I have open is the Inventor B prototype, which is available in the shared drive. And what you would do is open this prototype up and do a file save as, and save it as bracket 1433 inside your daily work folder. So I've already modeled the bracket 1433. And I have my prototype open, so I'm going to go up here to the tab that says Place Views and pick on that. Next I'll pick the base view, and the view that I want to choose for this one, first I want to make sure that I have the bracket 1433 open. I'm going to pick Open on that. And the view that I want to select is not the one that's showing right now, which says this is the front view. Rather, I'm going to go with what's called the top view here. I'm going to use that as my principal view. So I'm going to place that view about right here. And one thing I want you to notice is that I've set my scale to 0.75 because I've already tried it at full scale. Excuse me, and that's a little bit too big. So I've set my view to 0.75. I'm going to pick, and then I'm going to come straight across with my what will be my right side view. And I'm going to pick about right here, and then I'm going to right click my mouse and choose Create. I'm going to move my front view up, and because this is my parent view, this view, which is dependent on this one, will follow as I move it up. You can see it moving. As it moves, so does the other one. Alright, so now I'm ready to put in my section view. So I'm going to pick on this view here, the front view, and then I'm going to go choose Section View. And down here there's a prompt in the lower left hand corner that says enter the endpoints of the section line. So I'm going to come up here and let my mouse find the center of that hole, but I'm not going to pick it. I'm just going to acquire that point by parking there for a second. And as I move out, I'll see a little dashed line that's right along the horizontal line. I'm going to move out here because this is where the arrowhead is going to be placed for my cutting plane line. So I'm going to pick right here. And then I want to come straight back through my part and want to make sure that I'm on a horizontal line. I don't want to be off a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm right on the horizontal line. So you can see there's a perpendicular glyph following the endpoint of where my mouse is. So I want my second arrowhead for the cutting plane to be about right here. At that point, I'm going to right click the mouse and choose Continue. Now you can see that I have a view coming down here, but right now inside this section view box I can see that it's going to put a lot of labels in there, and I don't want those labels on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is there's a light bulb right here. I'm going to pick on that and turn that one off. And secondly, I'm going to go to the Edit View label, which is this pencil right here, and I'm going to click on that. And that's going to open up a text box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything in that box and press Delete, because I don't want any labels in here. And then I'm going to pick OK. And then I'm going to move down into this area right in here where I want my section view to be, so it'll be aligned automatically with my front view. And I'm just going to pick like that. Alright, now I still have a label up here for AA. And to take the AA off of here, and I should tell you that the first section view you make is labeled AA. If I did a section view over here, the second view would be labeled BB. What I'm going to do is come down to my section view and pick on that and right click and then choose Edit View. Let me drag this box up. So my drawing view editor opens up, and right down here it says View Identifier is A. And that's where I'm getting that AA, and I could change this if I want to, but really all I want to do is delete it. So I'm going to highlight that and press Delete. But then in order for it to keep that, I found you really need to just hit the space bar and put a placeholder in there and choose OK. And when you do that, the AA disappears right up here. So the next thing I would do then is go to Annotate and go over here and look at all of my options for doing center marks. And I don't have any pattern center marks or pattern holes in this one, so I'm not going to have to worry about that one. But I do have quite a few circles and arcs, so I'm going to just pick on this one right here. For example, I can choose this radius here and then choose this circle right here. work my way through choosing on these circles and things and getting center marks in there. For my center line bisectors, I would choose this one, and then come over here and choose on the sides of that hole, and choose on the sides of this hole here and the sides of this hole here. And let's see, I'll have a hole up here in those hidden lines. Then I'm going to press escape. Now I'm going to zoom in on those because what I want to do is bring those out a little bit, at least a 1/4 inch or so out past the edge. So I'm just going to fine tune these by dragging them out. Now sometimes if you drag them out too far, you're going to get some extra breaks in that center line, so you may want to pull it back. Just to remind you how to edit your center mark style, if you park on one of your center lines and right click the mouse and choose Edit Center Mark, usually what I do when I start is I set the A value here to 0.1, and then I set the B value to 0.05 and the C value to 0.125. The extension, this may be a default 0.157, and the default radius is 2.5, and then pick Done. And so that's a global command, and so it affects all of my center lines once I have that one done. So I can pull this one out a little bit. Again, if you come out too far, you're going to get some extra dashes that you may not want in there, so you may have to back off just a little bit to get them back like that. Now same thing up here on these center marks. I want to bring them out a 1/4 inch past the edge. And this center mark here I have to kind of be careful of because I have a center mark that is behind my cutting plane, and I can actually grab that guy and drag it in. All I need is the cutting plane line. I don't need this extra center mark that I have in here. So let me get on that again and see if I can drag that one in some. Sometimes these are hard to get to come in the way you want them to, but just remember that it's okay to have just your cutting plane line and not have the center line, the horizontal center line, showing behind that. So I'd probably do the same thing here and clean this one up as well. Get on that one and drag it over into here, maybe all the way in. See if I can clean up that center mark in there. All right. So at this point I'm ready to start adding dimensions. So of course I can use my dimension tools. Remember that things that were created as holes, you should use your hole and thread note. And so that should create a hole and thread note that you will have everything you want. If you need to edit that, just double click on it and uncheck Use Default. At that point you can come in here, and if you want to take off through, for example, on that hole and pick OK, excuse me, you can. Alright, so that's how you would get started, and just go through and get all your dimensions on there that are shown in the designer's sketch, and highlight each one as you add it, and pay attention to the precision, and if you need 3 places or 2 places, and make sure you get all of your dimensions on there. Add all of your notes in here, including the materials and things like that. And that's how you'll create the IDW, or the drawing file, for bracket 1433.